I want to preface this by saying while I am a believer in the paranormal, I don't attribute every noise and strange occurrence I hear as a ghost or demon. However, I know my house is haunted. I have lived in the same house all my life, and since I was a kid, my mother would tell me stories of the ghosts she would see before I was born. Her and my aunt have both seen a face in windows, both describing an elderly gentleman with a top hat. The face that they saw was never malicious or menacing looking, but just someone watching. After looking through several family photo albums, they saw a picture of my great-grandfather, and it was the face they kept seeing. After discovering the identity of the ghost, my mother felt general relief because at the time she was pregnant with me and my parents had a difficult time with conception, so she felt like he was watching over her while pregnant, a guardian angel of sorts. One night, she woke up to see a figure in the doorway to her room. Instead of the immediate terror a person would normally experience, she felt calm, even when the figure walked closer and closer to the bed, finally sitting next to my sleeping father. The figure promptly vanished. After that night, they never saw him again. Fast forward 22 years, I'm sitting dumbfounded hearing these stories for the first time, feeling genuinely bummed out that I never got to experience any of this. Now, at this time, I injured my shoulder and couldn't sleep in anything but a recliner for 6 months while I was recovering from surgery, so I took our basement and turned it into a mini apartment. After about a month, me and my girlfriend Emma started hearing the door to the upstairs close loudly at random points during the day and night. The fridge would be open for no reason, and motion lights we had at the top of the stairs would trigger on and off. All of these things were explainable enough. Old house making noise, bad lights, didn't close the fridge enough, a million different explanations. It started happening so much I would joke that the ghost was back, and I had decided his name was Fred. One night, me and Emma were home alone, and I left to go get dinner. When I came back, she looked visibly confused and annoyed. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Well, Fred played a little joke on me while you were gone." This piqued my interest greatly. "Do tell?" "When you left, I heard footsteps coming from upstairs, so I thought you forgot your keys or something, so I came to see what was going on, but when I came upstairs, you were not there. Then I heard footsteps coming from the third floor. I yelled up and nobody answered, but I heard the footsteps again, so I yelled up, 'All right, Fred, I'm not playing this game anymore.' Then nothing." She went back downstairs, and I came home a few minutes later. The footsteps continued for the next couple of weeks, and we just got used to shouting, "Knock it off, Fred," whenever it went on too long, and got annoying, which would always make it promptly stop. Till one night, around 2 a.m., we had a couple of friends over, and from upstairs we heard a very loud bang. Now, my parents both had very bad knees, so immediately, me and Emma rushed upstairs thinking one of them had just fallen down the stairs or something. But the main floor was dark, with nothing out of place. "Mom?" I tentatively called out, and from the third floor, both my parents yelled down, asking what happened. They had been in bed for the last hour, heard the crash, and thought we or one of our friends had drunkenly knocked something over. Keep in mind, none of us had been drinking at all. After verifying that my parents were okay and nothing was out of place, we both made sighs of relief. "Oh my god, I have to pee." Emma ran to the bathroom. "Babe, get in here now." I ran in to see what was wrong, and boy, had Fred struck. Laying in front of the toilet was the mirror normally mounted on the wall above the toilet face down, but unbroken. This was not possible. This mirror easily weighed 20 pounds. The frame was made from old logs chopped in half. This mirror was big enough that it would have broken the toilet, let alone not have the glass shatter. And even stranger, on top of the toilet, there are little knickknacks, all of which were undisturbed. Again, completely impossible. My brain launched directly into problem-solving mode. How could this happen? I checked the nail in the wall, solid, did not budge an inch. Checked the back of the mirror, just as solid. I remounted the mirror, waiting a few seconds to make sure it didn't fall. It didn't. I tried to recreate in my head how this could have happened, but the only conclusion I could reach is that someone took the mirror off the wall, held it a few inches off the ground, and dropped it. High enough to make the big bang, but not high enough to break it. Well, after all this, Emma had enough and said she was going to get rid of Fred. He's getting too ballsy with this stuff. The following week, she blessed the house with sage, all the while saying to Fred that he was unwelcome for now, if he was going to be doing things like this, but that if he could behave, he could return later on. After the blessing, we didn't hear from Fred at all, until about a year later. I came home from work, and my rocking chair was rocking like someone had just stood up. I tried walking around and recreating how I came in just to see if maybe I rocked the floor a little, but nothing. Alright, Fred, you're welcome to say just don't do anything stupid, or out you go again. So far, nothing since chair has happened, but who knows what Fred has planned to make sure we know he's there. I want to preface this by saying while I am a believer in the paranormal, I don't attribute every noise and strange occurrence I hear as a ghost